CDL Hazmat Endorsement Practice Test, 80 Essential DMV Questions and Answers. Are you preparing for your CDL Hazmat Endorsement exam? In this video, we'll cover 80 of the most important DMV questions and answers you need to pass your Hazmat Endorsement test. Whether you're a first-time test taker or just refreshing your knowledge, you'll get real exam questions and clear answers to help you succeed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more CDL practice tests and trucking tips. Let's get started and help you earn your Hazmat endorsement with confidence. Animal and human foodstuffs should not be loaded in the same vehicle with A. Explosives, Class 1. B. Oxidizers, Class 5. C. Poisons, Class 6. Correct answer: Poisons, Class 6. A driver who transports route-controlled radioactive material must have had special training by the carrier within the last -years. A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. Correct answer: 2. Whenever your vehicle is placarded, do not drive near open fire unless you A. Are equipped with a fire sprinkler. B. Can safely pass the fire without stopping. C. Have an enclosed cargo compartment. Correct answer: Can safely pass the fire without stopping. Which signals may be used to warn of a stopped vehicle which contains explosives? A. Signal fires. B. Reflective triangles. C. Flares. Correct answer: Reflective triangles. A hazard class name or ID number may not be used to describe A. Non-hazardous materials. B. A reportable quantity of a hazardous substance. C. Hazardous waste. Correct answer: Non-hazardous materials. A vehicle placarded for hazardous materials must have placards on dash sides. A. 2. B. 3. C. 4. Correct answer: 4. Who is responsible for packaging, labeling and preparing the hazardous material shipping papers for a common carrier? A. Shipper. B. Carrier. C. Driver. Correct answer: Shipper. The intent of the Hazardous Materials Regulation has 3 parts. 1. To ensure safety of drivers and equipment. 2. To communicate the risk. And 3. A. To tax the shipper correctly. B. To contain the materials. C. To allow state enforcement. Correct answer: To contain the materials. There are 3 lists that drivers, shippers, and carriers use to find out if a material is a regulated product. One of these is the A. List of hazardous substances and reportable quantities. B. EPA, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Dangerous Materials Table. B. Department of Transportation Hazard Chart. Correct answer: List of hazardous substances and reportable quantities. If an X or RQ is in the HM column of a shipper paper entry, the A. Shipment is regulated by Hazardous Materials Regulations. B. Material on that line is the biggest part of the shipment. C. Entry refers to the materials that must be top-loaded. Correct answer: Shipment is regulated by Hazardous Materials Regulations. Only one of these shipping papers' description for a hazardous material is in the right order. Which one is it? A. Hydrogen bromide, non-flammable gas, UN 1048. B. Corrosive material, hydrochloric acid, UN 1789. C. Hexane, UN 1208, flammable liquid. Correct answer: hydrogen bromide, non-flammable gas, UN 1048. A vehicle carrying explosives has crashed with another vehicle. You should not pull them apart until A. The shipper's loading foreman is present. B. The explosives have been placed at least 200 feet away from the vehicles and occupied buildings. C. At least 30 minutes have passed. Correct answer: the explosives have been placed at least 200 feet away from the vehicles and occupied buildings. You may not park a vehicle carrying hazardous materials within -feet on an open fire. A. 200. B. 300. C. 400. Correct answer: 300. The transport index of a radioactive material. A. Is another way of writing the weight of the package. B. Tells the degree of control needed during transportation. C. Is something that only the shipper needs to worry about. Correct answer: tells the degree of control needed during transportation. When hauling hazardous materials, you must stop your vehicle and check any dual tires at least once every - whichever is less. A. 1 hour or 50 miles. B. 2 hours or 100 miles. C. 3 hours or 150 miles. Correct answer: 2 hours or 100 miles. To stop for the railroad tracks, you should stop -feet before the nearest track. A. 5 to 20. B. 10 to 35. C. 15 to 50. Correct answer: 15 to 50. You are transporting hazardous materials. When you are not behind the wheel, the shipping papers must be on the driver's seat or A. In the driver's door pouch. B. On your person. C. On the dashboard in clear view. Correct answer: in the driver's door pouch. If hazardous material is spilling from your vehicle, do not move your vehicle. A. Any more than 500 feet. B. In an upwind direction. C. Any more than safety requires. Correct answer: any more than safety requires. The hazard class of a 2-liter bottle of material is flammable liquid. If the description also says poison inhalation hazard, you should A. Placard the vehicle poison only if no other cargo requires it. B. Placard the vehicle both with the poison and hazard class placards. C. Placard the vehicle poison and remove all other placards. Correct answer: placard the vehicle both with the poison and hazard class placards. You are going to be hauling hazardous materials over a route you do not know well. When should you check the route and the permits needed for the trip? A. Before starting the trip. B. While you are still on a part of the route that you know. C. Within 24 hours of the finish of the trip. Correct answer: before starting the trip. Carriers must give each driver who transports Class 1.1 or 1.2 explosives A. An extra fire bottle. B. A copy of FMCSR, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulation, Part 397. C. A list of rest stops the driver may use. Correct answer: a copy of FMCSR, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulation, Part 397. You should stop before crossing a railroad grade if your vehicle is carrying - of chlorine. A. 110 gallons. B. 55 gallons. C. Any amount. Correct answer: any amount. You are hauling hazardous materials and you find that one of your tires is leaking. You must A. Continue at reduced speed and check that tire every 25 miles. B. Stop at the nearest safe place and fix it. C. Report it to your carrier immediately. Correct answer: stop at the nearest safe place and fix it. When shippers package hazardous materials, they must certify that this was done according to regulations. The only exception is when A. The shipment is a hazardous waste. B. The driver is given a sealed cargo compartment. C. The shipper is a private carrier carrying their own product. Correct answer: the shipper is a private carrier carrying their own product. When fueling a placarded vehicle, someone must always be A. Within 10 feet of the pump with a fire extinguisher. B. At the nozzle, controlling the fuel flow. C. At the emergency power shutoff for the pump. Correct answer: at the nozzle, controlling the fuel flow. The total transport index of all radioactive materials packages in a single vehicle must not exceed dash A. 10, B. 50, C. 100. Correct answer: 50. Who is responsible for checking that the shipper correctly named, labeled and marked a hazardous materials shipment? A. Shipper. B. Manufacturer. C. Carrier. Correct answer: carrier. If there is an RQ before or after the item description on the shipping paper, it means the A. Material has an insurance value of over $1,000. B. Material is in a package containing no other materials. C. Carrier must report a spill of this material. Correct answer: carrier must report a spill of this material. You need to warn other motorists of a stopped vehicle, which has a tank used for flammable liquid or gases. You may use A. Flares. B. Signal fires. C. Reflective triangles. Correct answer: reflective triangles. You have hazardous materials leaking from a container, but not spilling from your vehicle. Drive to the closest area where you can get help. A. As fast as you can if it is damaging your truck. B. In repacking the leaking materials with plastic overwrap. C. And call emergency personnel if they are needed. Correct answer: and call emergency personnel if they are needed. You have loaded a hazardous material into a cargo tank. What must you do before you move the vehicle? A. Call Chemtrec, Chemical Transportation Emergency Center, and tell them where you are going. B. Have the loading observers sign off on the shipping papers. C. Close all manholes and valves and be sure they are free of leaks. Correct answer: close all manholes and valves and be sure they are free of leaks. When transporting chlorine in a cargo tank, you must have A. An approved gas mask. B. An emergency kit for controlling leaks in fittings on the dome cover plate. C. Both A and B. Correct answer: both A and B. If the word forbidden appears in the hazard class column of an entry in the hazardous materials table, A. The carrier may not open the package or container. B. A common carrier must never transport the material. C. A shipment of this material must never be larger than RQ. Correct answer: a common carrier must never transport the material. Your vehicle contains explosives, oxidizer or flammables. No one may smoke within -feet of the vehicle. A. 15. B. 25. C. 35. Correct answer: 25. When handling packages of explosives, you must A. Double wrap wet boxes in plastic to prevent staining. B. Roll the packages carefully, with no sharp or jarring actions. C. Never use hooks or other metal tools. Correct answer, never use hooks or other metal tools. Who is responsible for safely transporting a hazardous material shipment without delay and keeping the shipping papers in the right place? A. The driver. B. The carrier. C. The shipper. Correct answer, the driver. A railroad crossing is ahead of you, and you are hauling hazardous material. When you stop for the crossing, you can stop as far away as -feet from the nearest rail. A. 50. B. 75. C. 100. Correct answer, 50. The basic description of a hazardous material includes the hazard class, the identification number, and the proper shipping name. Which one must appear first in the shipping paper? A. The hazard class. B. The proper shipping name. C. The identification number. Correct answer, the proper shipping name. Class 1.1 explosives must not be transported in a combination vehicle if it includes A. 2 or more trailers. B. A placarded cargo tank. C. A vehicle carrying foodstuffs. Correct answer, a placarded cargo tank. You find an overheated tire during en route inspection. If you are hauling hazardous materials, you must A. Wait at least 2 hours before continuing on your trip. B. Cool the tire, then check it every 2 hours. C. Remove the tire and place it a safe distance from the vehicle. Correct answer, remove the tire and place it a safe distance from the vehicle. The power unit of a placarded vehicle must have a fire extinguisher with a UL rating of -BC or more. A. 5. B. 10. C. 15. Correct answer, 10. If you need to placard a vehicle for hazardous materials, at least how many placards you will need? A. 4. B. 3. C. 2. Correct answer, 4. A dated certificate of radioactive materials training must be A. Signed by your insurance agent. B. Kept in the driver's vehicle. C. Carried by the driver. Correct answer, carried by the driver. A properly prepared uniform hazardous waste manifest A. Is required only if there is a loss of cargo during transport. B. Must be signed and carried by anyone transporting a hazardous waste. C. Is the same as any other shipping paper. Correct answer, must be signed and carried by anyone transporting a hazardous waste. With most hazardous materials, you may park within 5 feet of the road briefly, if your work requires it. The materials, which are the exception, and do not allow parking this close to the roadside, are A. Explosives 1.1 and 1.2 and 1.3. B. Corrosives and oxidizers. C. Acids and poisons. Correct answer, explosives 1.1 and 1.2 and 1.3. You have a vehicle without racks to hold cylinders of compressed gas. You may load such cylinders only if they are A. Loaded upright or braced laying down flat. B. Less than a half of the load. C. Labeled non-flammable gas. Correct answer, loaded upright or braced laying down flat. Who is responsible for finding out what permits or special routes you will need to haul hazardous materials? A. The driver. B. The carrier. C. The shipper. Correct answer, the driver. If you are in accident involving hazardous materials, you should A. Tell only the emergency response team about the hazard. B. Keep all people away and upwind of the accident. C. Prevent a panic by acting like nothing is wrong. Correct answer: keep all people away and upwind of the accident. The intent of the Hazardous Materials Regulation has three parts. 1. To ensure safe drivers and equipment. 2. To contain the materials. And 3. A. To tax shippers correctly. B. To communicate the risk. C. To allow state enforcement. Correct answer: to communicate the risk. You are behind the wheel of a truck carrying a hazardous material shipment. The shipping papers must be on the pouch on the driver's door or in A. Clear view within your reach. B. The truck's glove compartment. C. A pouch on the inside of the trailer door. Correct answer: clear view within your reach. To find out if a shipment includes a hazardous material, you should A. Open and inspect every package and container. B. Look at the shipping paper. C. Look at the shipping license. Correct answer: look at the shipping paper. A vehicle contains 500 pounds each of explosives class 1.1 and 1.2. You must use A. Explosives 1.1 placards. B. Dangerous placards. C. Explosives and dangerous placards. Correct answer: explosives 1.1 placards. Which of the following must drivers have in their possession while transporting class 1.1 or 1.2 explosives? A. The written route plan. B. A citizen's band radio. C. The carrier's insurance policy. Correct answer: the written route plan. An X in the HM column of a shipping paper entry means A. The material is not a hazardous material. B. This is an exemption to the Hazardous Materials Regulations. C. The entry is for a hazardous material. Correct answer: the entry is for a hazardous material. If you have a hazardous material fire on the road, you should A. Not attempt to control the fire. B. Remove all hazardous materials. C. Open the cargo. Correct answer: not attempt to control the fire. When transporting Division 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3 explosives, you must A. Have a written route plan and follow that plan. B. Only travel on roads that change to highway. C. Not pick up shipment at any locations other than your employer terminal. Correct answer: have a written route plan and follow that plan. When loading or unloading any explosives. A. Cargo hooks must not be used to prevent sparks. B. Damaged packages must be placarded on the top of the stack. C. Never use hooks or other metal tools. Correct answer: never use hooks or other metal tools. A vehicle placarded for hazardous material must have placards on dash sides. A. 2. B. 3. C. 4. Correct answer: 4. Placard are 10 3/4 inches square, square on point in a dash shape. A. Square. B. Rectangular. C. Diamond. Correct answer: diamond. A flammable liquid can be transferred from one tanker to another on a public roadway if A. It is an emergency situation. B. It is rush hour traffic period. C. You should never transfer a flammable liquid from one tanker to another on a public roadway. Correct answer: It is an emergency situation. You are carrying placarded Class 7 radiation material. Must you stop before railroad crossing? A. No. B. Yes. C. Only if marked exempt. Correct answer, yes. A safe haven is A. Place for the driver to eat and rest. B. An approved place for parking unattended vehicles loaded with explosives. C. The minimum distance that you are allowed to park with explosives near open fire. Correct answer, an approved place for parking unattended vehicles loaded with explosives. Which of these placards must be displayed whenever any amount of the material is in the transportation? A. Oxygen. B. Corrosive. C. Flammable. Correct answer, oxygen. When transporting Division 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3 explosives, you must A. Have a written route plan and follow that plan. B. Only travel on roads designated as state highway. C. Not pick up shipment at any locations other than your employer terminal. Correct answer, have a written route plan and follow that plan. If you must to leave a placarded vehicle on the public roadway. A. You must be sure all the cars in the cargo area are located at the braced part. B. Overnight if you use proper placards to mark the stopped vehicle. C. It must be watched by qualified person who completed course of requirement. Correct answer, it must be watched by qualified person who completed course of requirement. When carrying explosives or have found braces damages. A. Leave the vehicle and go to help. B. Do not allow to smoke or fire near the vehicle. C. Immediately open and inspect the cargo. Correct answer, do not allow to smoke or fire near the vehicle. Explosives Class 1.1 must not be transported in a single transport vehicle that includes A. Materials that are classified ORMD. B. Cargo tank that is not equipped with materials. C. Class 7 radioactive materials that are classified ORMD. Correct answer, Class 7 radioactive materials that are classified ORMD. What is the Emergency Response Guidebook, ERG, used for? A. To determine the best route for hazardous materials. B. To provide guidance on how to respond to hazardous materials incidents. C. To check the expiration date of hazardous materials. Correct answer, to provide guidance on how to respond to hazardous materials incidents. When must shipping papers for hazardous materials be kept within immediate reach of the driver? A. Only when the vehicle is being loaded or unloaded. B. Whenever the driver is at the controls of the vehicle. C. Only during daylight hours. Correct answer, whenever the driver is at the controls of the vehicle. If you discover a hazardous materials spill or leak, you should first A. Try to contain the spill yourself. B. Move away and call emergency services. C. Ignore it if it seems minor. Correct answer, move away and call emergency services. What is required before loading or unloading hazardous materials cargo? A. Check for leaks and secure all packages. B. Only check the shipping papers. C. Turn off the vehicle's engine. Correct answer, check for leaks and secure all packages. When transporting hazardous materials, what should you do if you are involved in an accident and there is no fire or spill? A. Move the vehicle to the side of the road. B. Leave the scene immediately. C. Keep shipping papers with you and wait for emergency personnel. Correct answer, keep shipping papers with you and wait for emergency personnel. What is the purpose of the emergency response telephone number on shipping papers? A. To call the shipper for directions. B. To provide 24/7 emergency information about the hazardous material. C. To contact the driver's employer. Correct answer, to provide 24/7 emergency information about the hazardous material. Which class of hazardous materials is forbidden on all passenger-carrying aircraft and passenger-carrying railcars? A. Class 1, explosives. B. Class 7, radioactive. C. Class 6, poison. Correct answer, Class 1, explosives. What is the minimum age for a driver to transport hazardous materials interstate? A. 18. B. 19. C. 21. Correct answer, 21. Who is responsible for making sure the vehicle is not overloaded when transporting hazardous materials? A. The shipper. B. The driver. C. The carrier. Correct answer, the driver. What is required when placarding a vehicle for hazardous materials? A. Place placards on front and rear only. B. Place placards on all four sides. C. Place placards only on the driver's side. Correct answer, place placards on all four sides. What is the required action if you discover a leaking hazardous materials package during transport? A. Continue to your destination. B. Stop and secure the area, notify emergency personnel. C. Call your employer and wait for instructions. Correct answer, stop and secure the area, notify emergency personnel. What must you do if you transport hazardous materials and must leave your vehicle unattended? A. Lock the vehicle and keep shipping papers hidden. B. Park only in a safe, approved location and secure the vehicle. C. Leave the keys in the ignition for emergency use. Correct answer, park only in a safe, approved location and secure the vehicle. When transporting hazardous materials, you must have which documents in your possession? A. Only your CDL. B. Shipping papers and emergency response information. C. Only the bill of lading. Correct answer, shipping papers and emergency response information. Thanks for watching CDL Hazmat Endorsement Practice Test. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more CDL practice tests and trucking tips. Got questions or need more help? Drop a comment below, we're here to support your CDL journey. Check out our channel for more DMV test prep and CDL endorsement videos. Good luck on your Hazmat endorsement exam, drive safe and see you in the next video.